My name is Cynthia Pillsbury, and I live in Marin County. I have 3 children, ages 3, 5, and 8. I am one of the 3 San Francisco Bay Area chapter heads for the grassroots group Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. Unlike most other political issues, gun reform has always been an issue I cared about. However, it was not something I thought about on a daily basis until Friday, December 14th, a day that left a permanent scar on our country and on our family. I was at home that day with my youngest daughter. My neighbor waved to me across the street and sadly asked if I had heard the news. What she began to try to explain to me didn't make any sense. I ran into my house and Googled Newtown, Connecticut. A horrific scene started to unfold in front of my eyes. A town I had never heard of. Faces of sweet, innocent children I had never met immediately changed my life. I sat stunned for hours. I replayed in my mind the truly unimaginable scene that took place in an elementary school, just like the school my children attended in Larkspur. And my thoughts went directly to the parents, the mothers, whose hearts broke in a million pieces that day. I picked up my 2 older children at school with tears running down my face, as did many mothers, embracing them with such intensity that they looked at me with big, wondering eyes. I knew I could never tell my children what had happened. My 5 and 7-year-old should not know these evils exist. And not only do they exist in a classroom with kids that looked just like them. All because a mentally sick boy had a gun. I replay that day in my head daily. It enrages me. It brings me to my knees in sadness and in anger, and has given me the strength to work on this issue every day, no matter how busy I am, how tired I am, and frankly, how I'd rather be doing nicer things. Because frankly, I don't have a choice. This is my responsibility to do something, to make something productive come out of the worst preventable tragedy I can think of happening. I've never been an activist, an advocate, or someone who brings up politics at a dinner party or a soccer game, but people, that has all changed. We live in what many people think of as the greatest country in the world, full of opportunities, freedom. However, we live in a society that has allowed guns and violence to dominate the chapters of our history, and we must change. It's time to take control of the legacy we leave our children by creating a safe world where our children can grow, prosper, learn, and live in this great United States of America. Last month, as part of my involvement with Moms Demand Action, I attended a press conference that included members of our California tech community, as well as families from Sandy Hook and the group Sandy Hook Promise. I will never forget the look I saw in the parents' eyes of complete despair, sadness, rage, and disbelief of what has happened to their families. 26 lives were lost that day, and hundreds of lives were affected. Those family members will never recover and go on to lead the happy, productive lives they deserve to lead. This is how gun violence affects multiple generations and ultimately the health and welfare of our entire society. While we tragically can do nothing to bring life to those precious children and noble educators, we can absolutely do something to stop this horrific cycle of gun violence. In fact, we must do something. We must do something that a Sandy Hook father mentioned to me when I met him. Everyone, close your eyes and imagine losing your own child. Everyone, committee members, close your eyes and imagine your precious children, your son, your daughter, or your grandchildren. Imagine losing them in the kind of way that those children's lives were lost. And maybe then you will act. As our representatives, you have the ability to help prevent tragedies like the ones at Columbine, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Sandy Hook, and all the countless and senseless murders that happen every day. Sadly, these tragedies will continue to repeat over and over again if we do not have significant gun reform. what a gift you have and what a responsibility you each have. I support the entire Life to Act package and applaud your efforts to bring forth sensible gun reform bills. By preventing the sale, import, and use of excessive detachable magazines and bullet buttons, you will most definitely prevent situations of mass death. Can you imagine if these sick murderers had to stop and take the time to reload their bullets? In Sandy Hook, we know the killer was able to quickly and effortlessly switch magazines every time he went into a classroom, as if he were in a war zone. There is no place for this kind of weaponry in our society. We also know in Sandy Hook that 6 to 11 children saved their own lives by running for a place to hide. We know in the attempted assassination of Gabby Giffords in the Arizona parking lot, the perpetrator was tackled when he went to reload the gun. Absolutely saving lives. Thank you, Senators Steinberg, Hancock, and Yee, for proposing Senate Bill 374, 396, and 47. Secondly, background checks and requiring gun ownership permits and safe storage of all guns are not means to control the way people buy, store, and use guns. Instead, it's about keeping excessive ammunition and assault weapons out of the hands of the mentally ill and criminals who may be intent to create harm. Additionally, it's about educating gun owners on the ways to keep their guns safe in the home, away from children, thereby reducing accidental gun violence. This is basic common sense. Thank you, Senators De Leon and Wolk, for proposing Senate Bill 53 and 755. Additional thanks and gratitude to Senators Jackson, Block, and Leno, who are offering up common sense gun reform for California. Your peers, Republicans and Democrats alike, from New York, Colorado, Maryland, and Connecticut, and the majority of Americans have bravely raised their voices and demonstrated how we as a country can sensibly reform our gun laws. Common sense gun reform isn't political. It's common sense. As a mother, I'm entrusting you, my representatives of California, to keep my children safe and the other children growing up in our great state. We all can agree that we live in the most innovative and progressive states in the country, with boundless beauty and opportunity. Semi-assault weapons, high-capacity detachable magazines that are designed to cause mass casualties have no place in society. You all have the power to write the story of a safe, healthy world in which we raise our children and carry on the tradition of being a great country. To quote FDR, with awesome power comes awesome responsibility. Now, my friends, is the time to exert your power and represent the people. For those 20 moms, the 8 mothers a day who lose a child to gun violence, and for me, I'm counting on you all to do the right thing and vote to pass the Life Act bills for the state of California. Thank you.